Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we change things up a little bit as we are going to talk about if you should still buy or still play AEW Fight Forever heading into summer 2024. But before we get into this video, please do leave a like if you enjoyed or a dislike if you didn't enjoy. Leave a comment below. Do you still play AEW Fight Forever and what do you think of it? And of course, please do subscribe to the channel for more wrestling action. So let's get into this one. Should you be playing or should you buy AEW Fight Forever in the summer of 2024? Now this is coming from someone who has put nearly 2 days into the game since its launch last summer in 2023. And you're also talking to someone whose main game is WWE 2K24. Now, let's set the scene a little bit. I am predominantly a WWE guy. I watch every WWE PLE. I normally catch up on the weekly shows on YouTube, and I'm very much all around the WWE guy. Does that mean I don't like AEW? Not at all. I went to All In last year, 2023, and had a whale of a time. I still do watch the AEW pay-per-views where I can. I just don't buy every single one of them because it's 20 quid a time. And I still watch the weekly shows on YouTube, just like I do on WWE. So, though I would call myself a WWE boy, that does not mean I don't like AEW, and I'm still very much invested in that product, and I still very much hope that it thrives. Now, let's get on to the big question. Is AEW Fight Forever as good as WWE 2020 2K24? Is it a replacement? Absolutely not, and it's not even close. Does that mean it's a bad game? No, it doesn't. In fact, I actually still really enjoy the game. No, it's not something that I put on most days like 2K24, but that doesn't matter because the game is still fun at its core. So, let's get into the first section, the gameplay. The gameplay in AEW Fight Forever is addictive. There's something about being able to pull off moves by the click of a button, like clicking A and X against the rope, or everything feels a little bit more fluent in AEW Fight Forever. It feels like you're in control of your character that little bit more when you're pulling off those big moments, and they do a really good job of making those moments feel impactful. So for example, if you Irish whip your opponent into the steel steps and click A on Xbox or X on PlayStation, you will then powerbomb them onto the steel steps, and that impact really gets me, and it's those sort of moments that keep me coming back to the game. One other thing I really like about it is the finishers. So for example, one of my favourite finishers to do in the game is Bryan Danielson's, I should say, running knee, and I love the way that it just happens. It's not sort of this big, it can come out of nowhere. Now that is the same in 2K24, but there's something about the way that it works in AEW Fight Forever that I really like. Like every finisher feels snappy and again has that impactful feeling. Not to mention all the weapons that you can throw in there that are a great time, and cool interactables like putting bins on people's heads and stuff like that. I think the gameplay is really solid. The downside to the gameplay comes back to the match really, which is you can't have those 5-star bangers like you can on WWE 2K24. Every match is very short. It's quite repetitive. Every match feels quite the same. The move set doesn't feel quite as varied, and therefore the matches don't tend to be quite as interesting as 2K24. And as I say, because of the fact that you can't have those 5-star matches because people kick out finishers. Pretty much, they never kick out finishers, is what I mean to say. That's not a problem because that's what finishers should be. But when you want to have that 5-star match between Danielson and Kenny Omega, but you hit one running knee and Kenny Omega ain't kicking out, it just loses that kind of. It loses you because the match is done, and it very much feels like a Mortal Kombat or a Street Fighter, if you like. I don't play those games personally, but the fact that it's kind of this quick match, 2 to 3 minutes and you're done, you're out. Whereas 2K, you can have these matches that go on for 10, 15 minutes if you like. And that would be my biggest criticism of the game, is the fact that you can't have those 5-star classics that you can on 2K. But if you could, then this game would immediately be up there for me. I'm not saying it would still compete with 2K, but it would definitely be a lot better. Moving into section 2 then, the match types. The match types is where this game falls apart for me. The fact that you've got one-on-one, you've got lights out, and you've got falls count anywhere. You've then got a 2-on-2, triple threat, fatal 4-way, casino battle royale, and a ladder match. Oh, and a barbed wire death match. Ooh. Where's the rest of them? Where's the steel cage matches? You know, where's your blood and guts match, if you like? Where's your tag team falls count anywhere? Where's your triple threat falls count anywhere? Where's your triple threat steel cage matches? There's not enough content here. Like, I think that's people's biggest gripe with the game. You know, they've been adding in characters, which we'll get to, but the actual content in the game isn't there. Like, there's only so many one-on-one matches that you can have, because let's be honest, the 2s and 2s and 3s on 3s aren't great. And here's my biggest gripe with the 3-on-3s and Fatal 4-Ways while we're talking about it. People can just pin at any point and win the match. There's no health bar, and it just feels like you knock an opponent down straight away. If you pin them, that could be the end of the match, and I've had that happen to me several times. So when I'm playing this game, and the praise that I gave in the previous section, that's purely coming from sort of one-on-ones, ladder matches maybe, but even they're a bit quick, really. There's nothing here. There's just a severe lack of content that should have been addressed and should have been free updates, or at least put them into the overpriced DLCs, which again we'll get onto in a bit. That's where this game falls down. There's just not enough match types to keep you invested for a long period of time, because there's only so many one-on-one matches that you can play. So let's get into the roster then, as we quickly alluded to it. The roster here is stacked, and with the announcement of Season 4, we just got Samoa Joe, and we've got Adam Copeland and Jay White coming in soon. The roster's pretty stacked. The only notable star we're missing is Ospreay, which we didn't expect to happen anyway, as he's just signed. Kateshka's not in there either. Okada's not in there, but again, Okada was quite a recent signing. Kateshka, I'm guessing that's something to do with New Japan, possibly, because I'm not really too sure why he wouldn't be in the game. But for the most part, the roster is solid, and with the additions of the DLCs coming, I'm pretty happy with it. What I'm not happy about is having to pay 15 to 20 quid for 3 characters in a couple of arenas. Yes, I've done it, and this is, you don't have to go out and do that. And you can say, oh, why are you moaning about it? If you're feeding them money, you're feeding this machine. And to that I say you're absolutely right. But I want to support this game and support the game getting better. But now it's kind of got to that point where it looks like we're not getting any more content. I don't have any regrets, because I have enjoyed my time using people like Swerve, Samoa Joe, Claudio Castagnoli, Keith Lee. They've made the game better for me. So do I regret it? No. But do I think they were overpriced? Absolutely. And if they are going to make an AEW Fight Forever 2, it needs more match types, it needs more characters from the off, and it needs a season pass that when you pay for that season pass, you get everyone. Even if that means the season pass is £35 rather than £15. It needs to reflect what's in there, and it needs to have everything, because we were missold at the start of this when we bought the season pass, and I wasn't the only one, and then it realised that when Season 2 came out, we didn't get the stuff in it, and that really divided the fan base. But in terms of the roster, it's complete. Most AEW stars that you're going to want to play with are here, and their models look okay for the game that they're in. I'm not going to say they look amazing, because they don't, but I'm not going to say they look shit, because they don't look shit. They look good. It's just they're made for the type of game that it is. That's this arcadey style game. They're not made to be photorealistic like 2K. And to be fair, 2K's models aren't great either some of the time. Some of them are great and some of them are a bit iffy, even to this day. So I'm not going to hold that against the game. So the other thing that we haven't spoken about yet is Stadium Stampede. This was like a big selling feature when it came out as a free update, which is basically like a battle royale mode where you run around the stadium, you fight, and it closes in, and then the last person in there wins. This is a fun mode, and this was free, so this was a really positive sign when the game first came out of what was to come. Unfortunately, it didn't follow. The game mode is fine. It's quite fun, but it's not something that keeps me coming back, and to be fair, I barely touch it. And I'm not too sure how many other people play it now as well. It's not a reason to go out and get the game, but it's a nice to have on the side if you want to have a quick change of pace and you fancy a bit of a goof around, really, rather than some ordinary pro wrestling. The creation suite in this game is absolute trash. There's nothing there. Every wrestler looks the same. And when they added in the YouTubers DLC, if you can even call it DLC, because it was a free update they just planted on you, the YouTubers look terrible. 2 of them look identical, and look identical to my custom character. So if you're a creationist that likes to create stuff in these games, don't bother, because it is rubbish. And then we also have the Beat the Elite mode, Road to the Elite. Road to the Elite is a story-based game which was sold to us as this expansive adventure where you go around the AEW and climb your way up the ranks. It's a section. It's 4 sections with 3 different stories in each, which are all very mid. I've played it through probably about 5 times just to play with different characters, and it's just something else to do in the game because, as I say, there's not a lot else to do, but it is pretty mid. Like, after a playthrough, maybe 2, you ain't going to really want to touch this again because the storylines aren't that interesting and you really don't have any freedom whatsoever. All the outcomes end up being the same. So we've covered everything that AEW has to offer. Of course, on the DLCs, we also had to beat the Elite mode, which I accidentally mentioned earlier, which is a series of 10 matches where you fight your way through the ranks, and when you get to the last match, you get a reward. There's nothing more to it. You could just play 10 matches back to back if you wanted. You just wouldn't get the reward. And coming up, we also have Adam Copeland coming in with a horror-themed pack. And then we have Jay White coming in with a tournament mode, which again, I am looking forward to the tournament mode, but really all it is just, you could just do a tournament yourself if you wanted to. It's just a way to track it. So I am looking forward to the upcoming DLCs. The arenas in this game are pretty poor as well. It's something that I forgot to mention. You have to pay for the updated Dynamite, which is now isn't even updated. The beach maps are really cool. The Tokyo, Japan one is okay. The horror one looks good, but obviously hasn't come out at the time of this recording. No Collision, no All In, no Forbidden Door. Where are those? They should have been added in as free. That really grinds my gears. They should have been added into the game, and it's probably stuff they're going to hold back for the second one and get more money out of all of us, but we're all going to pay it because that's wrestling fans, and we'll moan, but we're still going to put up with it because that's what we do. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is my review of AEW Fight Forever. So, in conclusion, to answer the question that we asked at the start of this video, should you buy AEW Fight Forever in 2024? My answer is yes, when it is on sale. Or, as it was announced at the today, as I was recording this video, it will be on PS Plus starting June 5th, I believe. So, June 5th, if you have PlayStation Plus, it will be free. Definitely recommend it then. If you could pick it up for, say, £10, £15, $10, $15, I would say it's worth it. If you can get the DLCs on offer, potentially, but the base game is definitely worth $10 to $15. You'll definitely get that amount of gameplay out of it, especially if you're a hardcore wrestling fan like myself and you'll kind of just play different matches just randomly and make storylines in your own head. That's where it shines, and a bit of fun. If you've got some friends over, you can have a bit of a play around and that. But if you're a casual wrestling fan, you're not really a big fan of games, and you're thinking, oh, I kind of fancy playing a wrestling game, the obvious answer to this is go and play 2K24. If you're looking for an alternative to 2K24, AEW might scratch that itch, but just remember that it's very much an arcadey fighter rather than a wrestling game. And I think if you have that in mind, it is worth it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you if you watched all the way to the end of this video and listened to me ramble about a game that no one cares about, but I just felt like talking about because I feel like no one talks about this game, and I thought this video was going to be a very positive take on AEW Fight Forever, and as I've spoken through it, I realised that it really wasn't. The game really does need some love and attention, and at this point, they're even to start adding in free content, which they're not going to do, they're just going to release a sequel. So, there you have it. I tried to be positive about it, and I do genuinely love the game. There's a great game to be had there, it just is severely lacking content. So, if you did enjoy this video, please do leave a big fat thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't enjoy. Doesn't matter to me, I just appreciate the engagement. Please do leave a comment below, let me know what you think of AEW Fight Forever, and whether if they do come out of an AEW Fight Forever 2, will you buy it or will you not? And of course, subscribe for more wrestling action. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. See ya!